Hello, again this is Hans-Jürgen Clemens from company Métodos speaking. Today I'd like to talk to you about how to set up the fluorescence attachment on our new inverted microscope A310 Elite. Here you can find all the necessary components in a kind of explosion diagram. We are going to start in a first step by mounting the attachment itself together with a pre-aligned lamp house. In a second step, we are going to mount the filter cubes into the body of the microscope itself. Please note that in the case of A310, we do have 3 filter positions possible. In our case, we are using 2 real filters and 1 dummy, which will be the position for the bright field. In the third step, we are going to do the fine-tuning of the illumination itself, which will help us to get maximum efficiency in our complete illumination process. For a proper illumination setup, it's always good to know the light path within an inverted microscope. The fluorescence lamp house will be mounted on the back of the microscope with the help of some intermediate pieces. The light goes first of all in a horizontal way, touching the dichroic mirror of the filter cube. From here it goes in a vertical way for excitation. The emission goes back through the objective, is reflected and goes to the eyepieces. So let's start with the mounting of the fluorescent attachment itself into the back of the microscope. For this we have to remove the dust cover on the back. Take the optical part and the intermediate metal piece, bring it together, and you will find one position with a notch. And you can fix this one with the Allen key. Okay, done. The whole part now is pushed into the back of the microscope carefully until the end. Okay. You need 3 5mm Allen screws to fix this whole setup. Now it's time to mount the filter cube slider, including the carrier, into the right part of the microscope. For this, please remove the dust covers on both sides of the microscope and carefully insert the slider. You may now fix it with 2 screws. Number 1. Number 2. You may pull out the slider mechanism. Regarding the correct positioning of the filter cubes, you have to think about the light path again within an inverted microscope regarding fluorescence illumination. Here we are going to place our lamp housing. Here we are going to place our filter cubes. So please think about the dichroic mirror and its orientation. We have to turn it upside down so that we have to go like this. Of course, this is valid for all the filter cubes, so we have to turn them upside down. And now I'm going to start mounting the first one, followed by all the others. So the second filter cube has been mounted already, so let's take the third one, which will be a dummy. Push it up to the end, and again, take the fixing plate and screw it onto the edge. Once you have fixed the plate, you may use this cover and this piece, push it through and screw it into the side part of the filter cube, or in this case, the dummy. Fixed. Now you can push it in and fix it with the other screw. Now, this is the time to move the filter cubes for the first time. As you can see, we have rotated the microscope in order to show you what's happening on the left side. Again, first some kind of helpful intermediate plate, which is fixed again by 2 screws, like on the other side. And finally, you can place the cover on top. In the modern version of the lamp house, this is clamped by one screw, while in the older days there was a bayonet. So take the lamp house, place it carefully and fix it with a screw. We may now take the opportunity and pushing in the filter slider, which will work as a manual shutter. In the old version of the power supply, this filter slider carried a neutral density filter. This is now no longer necessary, as the power supply is adjustable in intensity. At the end of our setup procedure, it's time for a fine-tuning of the fluorescence illumination. Please first make sure that the complete instrument has been prepared following the rules of Köhler for transmitted light illumination. Then you may switch off the transmitted light. Our A310 Elite now has been prepared for transmitted light bright field and phase contrast. Now it's time for the fine-tuning of the fluorescence. Please rotate the nosepiece until you get an empty position. Place the business card onto the table and switch on the fluorescence power supply. Please wait a few seconds until the light arc is getting defined. You may start the procedure by moving the collector lens in order to get a precise image of the direct light. In order to align the mirror image, you need a special Allen key, and you have to adjust the lamp house from the back, moving the mirror into the correct position. The mirror image should be placed side by side to the direct light. If this is done, defocus by moving the collector lens until the whole field of view is illuminated homogeneously. Now the fine-tuning is ready. Please remove the business card and you may swing in a regular objective for a visual control of the fine-tuning. For a visual control of the homogeneity of illumination, place a fluorescence sample onto the stage. Focus and check if there's a final need for an adjustment. Please note that within an inverted microscope setup, you can never reach the fluorescence intensity as within an upright microscope setup. You're working with long distance objectives, you're working with phase contrast objectives. These are not the best preconditions for a bright image, but nevertheless it's a good compromise to have phase contrast and fluorescence at the same time, as you can use them simultaneously. Phase contrast powered by the internal power supply, fluorescence powered by the external power supply. Thank you for watching this video. I hope it gave you some helpful information. More information you can find on our website www.moticeurope.com, and of course you find us on YouTube channel. You're invited to visit us on our social media platforms. Thanks again for your attention.